30 minutes away from my destination, I was involved in a terrible car accident that totaled my car that I shouldn't have walked away from, but I did. I broke two places in my right hip socket and fractured some ribs and had internal bleeding. And I was in the hospital for a week, and my car was totaled and I was just there alone. Through that, I was able to meet some wonderful people who have a foundation called Changing Lives Foundation. And it did just that for me and mine. I had no idea what I was going to do whenever I got back. All the bills that I now had, the car that I lost, I was so worried, and I had bills that I, needed to get caught up on, and I just literally had no option, and or so I thought. And then I just prayed and I prayed on it, and the Changing Lives Foundation appeared, and the grant really helped me get out of that debt and to get ahead. So I am so grateful. Thank you so much for everything.
So I am very grateful for the foundation. I've had such an amazing time now that I'm healthy, and I am just over the moon happy. So thank you so much.
So my son Jack is 9 years old, and on Labor Day weekend in September, he fell off a skateboard and ended up getting a bone infection in his knee called osteomyelitis. And at first we didn't realize how severe his reaction was. It turns out he developed Stevens-Johnson syndrome, which is a severe allergic reaction where the body's immune system overreacts, and the skin on his mouth, on his face, in his throat, his hands and feet blistered basically from the inside out. So he wasn't able to eat or walk, and we had to be transferred to the Burn Center ICU in Augusta, Georgia, where they specialize in burns. And that's what essentially it was. His skin was burning from the inside out. Having a child in the hospital is stressful enough, but then having the financial burden on top of it, I was not able to work at that time. So that is another added stress. And we can't thank Changing Lives enough to be able to take that burden and stress off of us to where the grant was able to pay for all of Jack's medical expenses and our living expenses while he was in the hospital.
So the situation that happened in my life was I was diagnosed with LCIS and had to have a double mastectomy. I am a single mom of 2 teenagers. I am a hairstylist. If I don't work, I don't get paid. And I ended up having to be out of work for a little over 3 months. So having no income coming in, it was very stressful on top of all of the health issues that were going on. I had multiple complications during the whole procedure, and it was just a very trying time for not only myself, but for my kids as well, my clients, everybody. It was definitely a struggle. My life is impacted by the grant in so many different ways. It took such a huge stress relief off of me to be able to not wonder how I was going to pay the bills or feed my children or be able to get to my doctor's appointments. It was something that I had stressed about since I had gotten diagnosed. One of the really nice benefits of the grant from Changing Lives was that it was something that I didn't have to wait a long time for. From the application process to the time that I was able to get the grant was extremely short, which is also a huge stress relief because you didn't have to worry about if it's going to come in time, are my payments going to be late, all of that. So there are a lot of different places out there that do take months and months and months, and sometimes even longer. And this was definitely a very quick process, and it was super helpful for the immediate time that I needed that. If somebody was looking to donate to Changing Lives, I would absolutely recommend them as the first charity that I would ever think of. The way that it impacted me and my kids is something I'll never be able to forget. And it is something that has made it so much easier to return to normal life, or as normal as it gets. And it is something that is really, really, truly helping every single person that they can. It is absolutely amazing, and I don't know what I would do without them.
They were able to give my brother a grant to stay in an extended stay hotel for the last months of his life. And during those months, my brother was able to find the peace that he had been looking for a very, very long time. If you or someone you know is struggling and needs help, this is a good place to turn. We have good, kind people that help others. Even if you don't know someone in this position, but you can understand what it feels like to be desperate, I encourage you to please support Changing Lives Foundation. We help people who have encountered catastrophe and literally have nowhere else to turn for financial support.